Good morning, students. So first, let, let me welcome you all to the second year. As all of you got promoted, now you are in next year, means second year. Okay, congratulations to all. And I want, and I also want you to be cautious because this second year you have many subjects such as microbiology, pathology, pharmacology, dental materials, and two preclinical exams such as preclinical prosthodontics, preclinical conservative. So you all must be attentive and also concentrate on your studies because most of these subjects are dry. If you read once, you don't understand or you cannot remember. You should listen to the classes, then read standard textbooks and keep on you keep on reading, then only you can able to understand, then you can recollect, and it will be useful for your further classes. Okay okay so now we're going to deal with introduction to dental materials. I'm Dr. VHC Kumar, professor, department of prosthodontics. Okay, so these dental materials, so in first year you might not had theory classes, but you had practicals where you have manipulated dental plaster to make cubes, dental stone to make cast, impression compound manipulation. Okay, so few things you have done. Okay, so for example, if you go to any shop or if you go to any medical doctor, so the person who are treating or the person who are doing a repair of your mobile or laptop, he must he should have idea of what is made up of or what are the components it has, then only he can find out what is the problem with the mobile, then he can do the repair. So if you take mobile to any layperson who don't have any kind of knowledge, he won't touch at all. Or same thing, we'll go to any doctor who has nil knowledge or who are not good in at the any kind of treatment at all. No. So before we consult any doctor, we'll find out whether he does good treatment, and then only we can approach. Same way, so we as a dentist, okay, we will be treating oral cavity, structures in the oral cavity such as teeth and surrounding areas such as gums, jaws, cheek, and extraoral structures. Okay, so when we are treating this, we need to use some materials. Okay, so these materials are known as dental materials. So as long as we practice dentistry, we will be using these materials. So we should have complete idea of these materials such as composition, physical properties, mechanical properties, chemical properties. Okay, what are the advantages of these material, what are the disadvantages, contraindications, or any harmful effect of these materials, you must know. Then only then only we can decide where to use a particular material. See, one material cannot be used in all situations. Okay, we should have an idea of one material, then we can decide whether that can be used in one situation or not. Well, okay, so first we should have a thorough knowledge. Okay, So if some material, example, if patient is allergic to nickel, okay, so we cannot use any material which is containing nickel. If you use what happens, it causes reactions in the patient oral cavity, or it may cause systemically or harmful effect to the patient. So we should have a thorough knowledge of dental materials. Okay, so when you are reading these chapters, dental material, read standard textbooks. Don't go with any kind of material or any short books. So read Phillips dental materials or Craig, which are of standard. So then only you can have basic knowledge, okay, that can be useful for you in your lifetime. Now, what is the science of dental materials? The science of dental materials is nothing but it is a study of composition and the properties of dental materials and the manner in which they interact with the environment they are placed. Means, so if you, for a particular example, you have used impression compound, right? You must know the composition of impression compound, what basically it made up of, then properties. Properties means what are the thermal properties, physical properties, and mechanical properties. For example, okay, for example, impression compound is a rigid material. Rigid material cannot be used for making impression of a dentulous patient. When teeth are there, we cannot use impression compound for making impression because the rigid material will get stuck in the teeth or between the teeth, and it is very difficult to remove from the oral cavity. Okay, so the study of composition and property of dental materials and the manner in which they interact with the environment. Here environment we are talking is oral cavity. Oral cavity is a wet structure where there will be constant secretion of saliva. So it is a wet environment in which they are placed. Okay, so basically the science means science of dental materials. Dental material science deals with physical, mechanical, and biological properties of dental materials. For any material, we should know physical properties. Physical properties means, so if you place any material in the oral cavity under forces or under load, what is the load occurring in the oral cavity? What is the load or what is the forces happening on the tooth? Can you remember? When you are chewing, upper and lower teeth will come in contact, or upper teeth will come and touch the lower teeth. So then the load will be applied onto this teeth. So when load is applied, the material which you placed in the oral cavity should not be deformed or should not change its shape. Okay, so the physical properties are such that the physical state of a material should remain normal under any temperature changes or under any occlusal loads or any kind of forces. Under any forces, the material should not change its shape or form. And mechanical means, for example, okay, posterior back teeth are used for chewing, whereas front teeth are useful for beauty or for aesthetic. When patient smiles, front teeth will be visible if they are properly aligned, if they are in good shape or good color. So it will provide beauty to that person, that it be he or she. So the beauty means aesthetics. Okay, so posteriorly mastication will happen or chewing will happen. So load will be placed. So on the back teeth, when you are placing any material, it should withstand that load. Means it should have a strength to withstand this load. Whereas front teeth are meant for aesthetics or beauty. So when we are using any material on the front teeth, it can have a strength which is of lower capacity. Okay. Then biological. See, we are placing these dental materials in the oral cavity. Oral cavity is a part of human body. Biology or living tissues. So we are placing the material in the living tissues. So this material should not cause harm, or it should not cause any burning sensation, or it should not cause any damaging to the living cells. Okay. So we should know the physical, mechanical and biological properties of dental materials. Okay. So why we should know means, if you know these properties, then only the operator, if the operator have basic knowledge about this material, then he can decide where to use a particular material, whether to use on a patient or not. If not, why? Okay. Okay. And it also helps us to choose a material and allows us to effectively manipulate it. So not only the knowledge, even how to handle the material. See, dental plaster. Okay, you have done the mixing part. Then you have placed on the slab and you made a cube. So you must know how to handle the material. You should have a knowledge as well as the skill. So you should have a knowledge, then you should practice it such that you should have a control over the material. See this mechanical properties. When stress is applied or when the force is applied, how the material is behaving. See, this is a brittle material. Brittle means like a glass. When you apply heavy load, it will get break. See this. Initially it is in this form. When you apply pressure, it is bending. It is known as flexibility. Flexibility. Okay. So these are the mechanical properties. Whereas physical properties depends on color. Okay. When it is in the present in the oral cavity, whether the color which is in the initial stage is there after 1 year, after 2 years, same color is there or not, any change in the shape or order. So always dental material what you have selected should be orderless. Okay. Then the mass, volume, then it has any magnetism or conduction, electric conduction. What about its strength, flexibility? Everything you should have an idea of. Now, what are the ideal requirements of a dental materials? When you are using the dental materials in the patient, you should have basic knowledge. Same way, the material should have a few characteristics to be used in the patient. Example, it should be biocompatible. It should be friendly to the living tissues. Biocompatible, compatibility, or it should be friendly to the living tissues. And mechanically stable and durable. When you give any material under a occlusal load or under any thermal load, it should be remain in its shape. It should not change its shape. Okay, it should have some life. So if you place a example, you place any restoration, fractures in 1 month or it fractures in 10 days, patient will be unhappy and it is not at all advisable. So when you give some restoration, it should be stable. At least it should have some life or should have some prolonged life. Then resistance to corrosion. As we discussed previously, oral cavity is a wet environment. For example, when you place any iron or metal in the water or in a exposed to water for a long time, what happens to that metal surface? It corrodes. Okay, it is deteriorates. The surface of the metal will be damaged. So here oral cavity being a wet surface, wet area, when you are placing any metal or any material, it should not corrode. If it corrodes, it will go into the intestine, the rust particles will go into the intestine and damage the health of the patient. So it should not have corrosion, should be resistant to corrosion, and dimensionally stable, should remain in its own shape or form for a long time. Aesthetic. When you are giving any material anteriorly, it should be enhance the beauty of the patient. Aesthetic. Easy to manipulate. However it may be, all biocompatibility, all the first 5 points are regarding the patient. Coming to the operator or coming to the dentist, when we are handling the material, it should be easy to manipulate. So when we are mixing the material or when we are doing any kind of restoration or any kind of work with the material, it should be easy to work. Okay, that adheres to the tissues. So when we place in the restoration, when we place the restoration in the tooth, it should have an adhesive property where it sticks to the teeth. It should not come off from the teeth. Okay, and it should be tasteless and odorless. Then only patient will be comfortable. If it is having any bad taste or bad odor, patient will not accept it. Cleanable and repairable. If any fracture happens, it should be easy to repairable and cost effective. And also, it should be cost effective such that it will not burden the dentist or it won't burden the patient. Now coming to classification. See, there are so many materials which are used in dentistry. Okay, they are basically categorized or they are classified into 3 types. So dental materials can be classified as preventive dental materials. So when material is used to prevent the occurrence of any disease, okay, prevention is better than cure. Okay, so in this COVID situation, okay, so to prevent the occurrence or to prevent the spread of coronavirus, okay, what everyone are suggesting is social distancing, hand sanitizing, and also okay, staying at home without mass gathering. Okay, so that there will be a prevention or we can prevent the disease. Same way here, materials which prevent the occurrence of disease are known as preventive dental materials. If disease occurred and there is a damage in the tooth structure, then we have to remove that damaged part and we have to restore back the original shape of the tooth. Those are known as restorative dental materials. Preventive prevents the occurrence of disease. Restorative, already when there is a damaged part where we have to restore back the shape. So according to how they are done, they are again classified into direct restorative materials, indirect restorative materials, and last auxiliary dental materials, which helps either in restorative materials or for preventive materials. Okay, coming to preventive dental materials. So common disease of tooth is can you remember what is the common complaint patient comes to you? Yeah, pain. Why the pain? Because of dental caries. Dental caries is a demineralization or destruction of tooth because of bacterial invasion. Okay. The basic aim of preventive dental material is to provide resistance to progression of active caries lesion. Okay. So preventive dental materials prevent the occurrence and progression of caries lesion. Caries lesion causes demineralization of dental enamel. Tooth is made up of enamel, dentin, and pulp. So, as caries progresses from enamel, it enters dentin, then pulp. So once it goes on to the pulp, either it will be a very either it leads to massive destruction of the tooth, or it goes for root canal treatment. Okay, so in order to go to prevent to go to that stage, we have to use preventive dental materials such as dentifrices. Dentifrice is nothing but toothpaste, what we use, or tooth powder, mouthwashes, cavity varnishes. If patient brushes the tooth properly, use cavity varnishes or mouthwashes properly, caries occurrence can be reduced or can be stopped. And pit and fissure sealants. Okay, so pit and fissure sealants. See, this is the occlusal surface of the teeth. So in dental anatomy, we have done the carving of tooth carving, right? This is the occlusal part of the tooth. Posteriorly occlusal part of the tooth molar, where you have cusp. Between the cusp, you have pits and fissures, or you have grooves, central groove, okay, buccal groove, lingual groove. So into the groove, if these grooves are deep and patient is not brushing properly or maintaining hygiene properly, the food will get lodged and caries can happen. To prevent that, the deep grooves can be filled with help of a pit and fissure sealants. They will seal these grooves. As the grooves are sealed, there is no chance of food lodgement. No food lodgements, no caries occurrence. So, preventive restorative materials such as dentifrices, mouthwashes, varnishes, or pit and fissure sealants. And also fluoride releasing cements. Certain cements such as glass ionomer cement releases fluoride. This okay, fluoride chemical will prevent the caries occurrence. Okay. So preventive dental materials. Preventive dental materials again there can be of three types. One is for short periods. So when you give some material and that life or life of that material is only for a few months, a few days, it is known as short time. If that material works for 1 year to 4 years, it is moderately long term period. The material what we are given works more than 5 years, it is a long term period. Okay, so preventive material which works depends on its period of usage. And restorative dental materials. Okay, see here, they have dental caries, decay. Okay, these damaged parts should be removed. Once you remove, there will be a cavity or hole. So we have to fill the cavity such that we will retain or restore the original shape. Okay, for restoring we use a materials. These are known as restorative materials. See here, caries is there and it is removed and restored. Okay, restorative materials such as helps to repair or replace defected or damaged tooth structure. Examples: amalgam, bonding agents, composites, compomers, ceramics, liners, cement bases, dental polymers. So all these are restorative materials which helps to restore back the original shape of the tooth. Okay. Again, the restorative materials can be classified into two types. One is, see here what we are doing in caries is removed and the cement is placed. Glass ionomer cement or composite or amalgam will be placed directly in the oral cavity onto the tooth. So we are placing directly, working directly in the mouth to place the material. So this is known as or restoring the tooth. This is known as direct method. Direct method in which we work directly in the patient oral cavity. Let's check here. For this patient, single tooth is missing anteriorly. Another case where single tooth is missing posteriorly. Okay, so here what you do when teeth are missing, we give a bridge. We prepare front teeth, backed it and give a bridge and cement it. There is any severe damage to the single tooth, we cover the tooth. So that is known as crown. Crown cover is given on a single tooth, bridge is given to replace a missing tooth. So in this situation, we cannot make the crown directly in the patient mouth. We cannot fabricate the bridge directly in the patient mouth. We have to make a impression for the cast. Then in the laboratory we have to fabricate or we have to manufacture. Then we have to fit in the patient mouth. So we are doing it outside and fitting in the patient mouth. It is known as indirect restorative materials. Again, restorative materials are direct restorative materials, indirect restorative materials. Okay. So types of restorative dental materials: direct restorative materials used intraorally, fabricated restoration or prosthetic devices where they work directly on the teeth or tissues. Okay. First picture or caries picture we have seen that is direct restorative materials. Indirect restorative materials where they are fabricated or manufactured extraorally and formed indirectly over the cast or models. On the cast or models they are done, then finally it is fitted in the patient mouth. Auxiliary dental materials. These materials helps in the process of fabricating dental process. So when any material helps in the fabrication of crown or bridges, or for indirect restoration materials which are helpful, those are known as auxiliary dental materials. They can be impression materials, dental waxes, gypsum cast and model materials, finishing and polishing abrasives, acrylic resins for impressions, and acid etching solution. See, all these are for indirect restoration. In indirect restoration, already we discussed, we'll make an impression, then we pour the cast, and the cast we make a wax patterns or occlusal rims. Finally, we do the polishing. All these are done in the laboratory. So, helpful for fabricating or finishing the process. So, these are auxiliary dental materials. See here, impression materials, waxes, dentures, artificial teeth or auxiliary dental materials which help for fabricating the process. Then, few are used for temporary. Temporary means for short period. Okay, for few days or few months. So if any material is used for few days or few months, then it will be removed and replaced with a permanent one. So the time being or for shorter period any material is used is known as temporary restorative material. They are subcategory of restorative materials intended to be used to restore the tooth temporarily. They are used only for a time being or for temporary short period of time. This includes orthodontic wires for correcting the tooth positions, cements used as temporary liners. Few cements are used for short period of time to check whether we can proceed to a permanent treatment or not. Cement used as a temporary filling materials or acrylic resins used for inlays, crowns and fixed partial inches. Okay. Okay. So this is the basic introduction class. Okay. So where we have seen what are the properties we have to know, ideal requirements of material, classification. Okay. So we'll continue further in next class. Okay. Thank you.